Hello everyone. So I recently updated all my guides on ANVIL for Season 3, and out of all the breakers that I've done, I didn't realize I forgot to do the most important breaker in the game. He is the strongest, he is the powerhouse, he is the king of the speedruns, as well as just the poster boy, and everyone has him available to them. I forgot to update Jungler, so let's do that now. To start with, Jungler is the king of speedruns. He works best as a skill-based breaker, meaning that you want to take things that make his skills do more damage. To start with his relics, I opt to run Requiem Stone Mercy, Convergent Energy Skill Module, and Critical Power Shield. And then our 4th slot changes depending on what we're doing, as well as just what you feel like you want to have in. So the reason we stun Mercy is attack power is a very important stat within ANVIL. Mercy gives you the biggest amount of attack power for the littlest cost. What I mean is, it's the same amount of attack power you'll get as using something like Turret Grease, apart from if you move, you lose Turret Grease. With Mercy, all it's asking is for you to stay at 100% health, which is not a big issue for someone like Jungler. Convergent Energy Skill Module gives you 100% skill power. This is the same as using something like Exium Power Chip. The downside is it consumes 5% skill, 5% of coins held on skill use. This is not a big ask. It sounds bad, but it does have an internal cooldown of 5 seconds, meaning it's not going to consume every single time you press your mines. It's not going to consume every time you press Crossfire. It's only going to take about 10 to 15% of your coins per fight. This is not that big of an issue in the grand scheme of things, as you're going to be spending most of your coins before you actually go into the bosses anyway. Critical Power Shield. This gives us 100% crit damage while shielded. We like to maintain this by using our Toy Workers and usually Shield module within the run as well. And then for our 4th slot, this is where it changes and it depends on just you as a player and your preferences. I personally like to run Bonus Coin. Bonus Coin gives us money for every planet we go to. This helps counteract some of the loss that we're going to be getting from Convergent Skill Module, as well as just helps us not get priced out of certain things what we're trying to buy. So this will help us buy the more powerful relics. This will help us buy Crasher shotguns more often and more frequently. This is just a very nice relic to have. But other options you can choose to run would be something like Special Charge Module. This means when your crossfire hits with the multiple rockets that it fires, you can have a chance to reset your crossfire and have big bursts that way. As well as your mines. Whenever you get your ×2 mine upgrades, you're hitting with 4 mines, so that's 15% per mine every button press. Obviously, it does have a cooldown per skill, but for the most part, you will more likely get a reset per rotation on your mines and your crossfire. It's going to be really, really helpful. When we did our world record time, and we had 2 junglers and 1 sandman, I ran the bonus coin, but the other jungler actually ran the special charge module, and our DPS comparison was pretty similar. If he got resets, he would pull ahead a little bit. If he didn't get resets, I would pull ahead based on the money and the extra relics I was managing to purchase throughout the run. So from a consistency standpoint, I recommend bonus coin, but if you want the highest burst possible, I suggest special charge module, or if you really want to just go in with as much damage as possible, you can either start with an extra critical box or a critical power magazine. Either way, you want to be finding these in the run anyway. Now, talking about relics and managing your relic options, these don't really matter. As long as you put the important relics in high, that's all that really matters. Just means you're more consistently going to see these more than if you didn't have them up here. So, Extreme Power Chips, 100% skill power, skill-based build. We like our skill power options. Same as Power Box. And then we've got Critical Power Magazine and Critical Box. It's just critical damage. This is going to be a build that uses critical damage a lot. Then we've got stuff like Defensive Retaliation. This is only good and only something you should purchase if you manage to find the upgrade for your crossfire that gives you 200% defense, as this will give you a lot of attack power. Then you've got cooldown stuff. Cooldowns are going to be the biggest issue when it comes to a skill-based build. If you don't have your cooldowns, you don't have your damage. So we like to pick up this stuff in the run and have our cooldowns back more frequently. And then we have Status Effect Target. This is mainly here for when we play multiplayer, as the Sandman usually will end up running something like Venom Rifle within the run as well as Petrify, and just give us different statuses to help maintain and utilize this as jungler. If you're playing solo though, you're not really going to have access to other statuses other than Burn. This loses a lot of its value, and then by the time you get to Protean Beast is immune to Burn, so you'll lose all value. So in solo, don't pick up Status Effect Target on someone like Jungler, unless you're playing Seasonal and you have consistent ways of proccing this, but as someone like Jungler, you really don't. In low, I've mainly put the relics I just never want to see in here, so Ambrosiac, for example. This relic doesn't do anything. It's not great. It's not worth the 240. These relics here are just completely useless, so I put them here so they just show up less frequently, as well as the knives. The knives aren't really that good for Campanella, that you just don't kill enough things to make value out of them. And then in something like seasonal, the only two here that are useful are the power knife and the critical knife, so then I just bump these into medium when I'm doing something like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Talk about weapons. So your starting weapon doesn't matter. I start with the Venom Rifle because out of the options here, Venom Rifle does the highest base damage. And in multiplayer setting, it becomes very handy, because what this means is the weapon that we actually want to be running as the jungler is something that Sandman can start with, and that being the Crasher Shotgun. The Crasher Shotgun gives you 100% crit for 5 seconds after you fire it, as in critical chance, meaning you could skip all critical chance related relics, get this shotgun, and this shotgun, even if it has no relic rolls on it and it's just a basic blue version, is actually going to be around about 240 to 300 coins worth of value, just because of the fact that it's giving you 100% crit chance. This is a lot of damage to be getting. Sandman could start this, so in a multiplayer setting, what we like to do is have the Sandman start with the Crasher Shotgun, the jungler starts with his Venom Rifle, and then the Sandman just purchases any blue weapon he sees in the shop, immediately dropping the Crasher Shotgun and allowing the Sandman and the jungler to basically trade weapons. It's very, very, very good start. If you're playing solo though, basically you want to be hunting for the Crasher Shotgun ASAP, meaning start the run, look in the first box, find a Crasher. If there's no Crasher there, just restart. You're playing solo anyway, it's not hurting you. It's very, very, very good trick, and just try to keep that in mind when you're going for these runs. Going over to skills, we opt to start with the 500% skill power mine. This is going to be your largest damage, and this is what makes jungler really accelerate his runs extremely fast. So we got 500% skill power. The next important upgrade will be to find the ×2 mines. This is going to make it so you're placing 4 mines, each mine doing 500% more skill power. This is just going to one-shot bosses. Like, you can start your run with the basic setup with just those 3 relics I mentioned, the 500% skill power and a Crasher, and you're going to one-shot the first planet anyway. If you then put the ×2 mines on this, you're going to be one-shotting the second planet, and sometimes even the third planet. Like, jungler does crazy amount of burst damage. The next important thing to find will be the cooldown. Being able to do this more often helps a lot when you get to, like, planet 5, and planet 7s, and planet 9s. Now, we should talk about the burn target. Burn target is really good if you manage to find it early into your runs and there isn't many burn planets. If there's lots of burn planets, you get no value out of this. If you then find it late into the run, so let's say planet 7 or planet 8, it's not worth picking up, because by that point you're only going to get value out of this for 1 planet, and then you're going to go against Protean Beast, and this is just going to be useless because Protean Beast is immune to burn anyway. So yes, if you find it early, pick it up. If you don't find it early, ignore it. Decoy, this is just a kill on sight. You do not want to see this. Do never ever pick up Decoy. The issue with Decoy is Protean Beast has a healing phase. If he hits your Decoy, he will heal off of hitting the Decoy. But the most important thing and the most annoying thing with Decoy is the optimal way to place your mines is so they're directly under the boss, so all 4 detonate the moment you place them. Now the issue with that is Decoy spawns in the middle. If Decoy spawns in the middle of your mines and then pushes the enemy up into the air, what this does is future mines you press and place will no longer detonate, as the boss is technically elevated and floating and isn't on their trigger path, meaning Decoy basically just screwed your run. The 50% skill power would be nice to have, but unfortunately the Decoy it summons is just too much of a grief, and we just do not like that. So TLDR, pick up these 2 things up here. If you manage to find this early in the run, pick it up. If not, ignore it. And then also try and find the cooldown. Moving over to Crossfire. Crossfire is extremely important. Crossfire is just as important as your mines. So you'll want to find your 500% and your ×2. And then find the cooldown. If you can't find the cooldown, it's fine. Move over to Crossfire. Get your 200% as fast as possible. Get the 100% skill power on Crossfire when you fire it. This is great because this means you can lead with your Crossfires and then start mining instead, and you get even more damage. And then outside of that, you'll want to find the cooldown and the ×2 projectiles. ×2 projectiles does make this do more damage. On enemies that get hit by multiple parts of the Crossfire, will take damage for each instance that they get hit from the Crossfire, same as the mines. If you manage to find defense, suit, or retaliation, like I previously mentioned in the relic part, then you'll want to be picking up this as well. The 200% defense will scale your defense to being 90% after using crossfire, which will give you even more attack power from the retail suit. Coming down to the dashes, none of these really matter. There's two in here that are kind of useful, so we'll cover those now. We prefer to have the health recovery. We will not ever prioritize these over crossfires or mines, but the recovery helps us maintain mercy, as well as the instant reload helps us maintain our critical power magazine being at full ammo. This is really, really nice and very, very helpful. But again, can't stress this enough. Prioritize your mine upgrades and your crossfire upgrades over everything else. Talking about bullet slash. Bullet slash is not important at all. Ignore pretty much all of the bullet slash. The only one that is kind of useful is the ×2 AoE and burn targets and then hit. The burn that this applies is a separate instance of burn. So if you manage to find this, for example, really early, and then you get screwed and you only get speed target stuff, and then you get this burn, then technically you're going to be double dipping and getting a lot of value out of this, but also a lot of value out of spec target. But much like I mentioned, that combo is only good for the early planets, as by the time you get to Protean Beast is going to be immune to burn and you're getting no value out of this. We always play around Protean Beast, always plan your runs around the Protean Beast. Protean Beast is going to be the longest kill of the entire run, so you really want to keep in mind Planet 9 when you're choosing your options. To quickly sum up and reiterate again, prioritize your mines and then your crossfires, and you're good to go. Talk about toy workers real quick. Toy workers, this isn't too important. Don't worry too much about it. The only thing that really matters is that you're running high V2. High V2 is very powerful in the speedrun setting, as it gives you a shield. This shield allows you to utilize stuff like critical power shield more frequently, as well as just make you more survivable and help keep your mercy at full health as well. I did get lucky here and managed to roll some boss target and some critical damage. These two are very nice. The weapon power doesn't matter too much, but I'm not going to bother farming for the best toy worker possible. They do not make that much of a difference to really matter. As long as you have this thing down here, you are good to go. If you did want to min-max your toy worker though, look for skill power, look for critical damage, and look for boss target. You could technically look for some burn target stuff as well, but I wouldn't prioritize that. If you're using something like Hive, for example, which is technically better, this is a better setup for jungler on this one. If I could have this role basically on this toy worker, I would be much more set. But yes, for an example of the perfect roles, this would be it. You'll want to find defense, you want to find skill power, and you want to find cooldown. Try to find the ones where it says at max health, because they give you more value. But otherwise, just make sure you're using high V2 for this shield down here, so you can use your critical power shield more often. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope this guide has been helpful. If it has, please like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube algorithm stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video.